John Vienna, come from Tanzania. I'm suffering from Parkinson's disease for 10 years now.
My name is John Eliona Mena. I'm from Tanzania, East Africa. I'm the biological father of Sister John Mena. My son was born 37 years ago. He was well and sound when he was born. As he goes to schools, even to the college, he was okay. Just unfortunately, after starting the job for almost 4 years, the complications started to show symptoms of losing balance, discomforts, and then we decided to arrange some medical care and attention to him in our local hospitals, in some hospitals, and also our national hospitals, Muhimbili. Thereafter, the situation persisted. The treatment was still keeping on with our doctors, with our all technical healthy people, but it didn't work well. Then it was almost 8 years ago, the doctors gave us a referral to come to India. Then we were referred to go to Chennai Apollo. They started some treatments. Of course, they did a lot about it. A big attention was there and a lot of tests and all this was done, only to find that it is the symptoms of the early Parkinson symptoms. So they said that because it was too much early, we should have to go back and take some medications, which include levodopa syndropa, which was he has been keeping with it for almost this 8 years now. And then as the sickness persisted, we decided to go to the hospital, national hospital, and the very specialist for cysts decided to say, now this is the end of me, it's better we refer him back to India in Apollo.
This young patient, who was in his mid-30s and father of 3 children, is from Tanzania, and he had been diagnosed to have Parkinson's disease. So this is a juvenile form of Parkinson's disease which he had been suffering for some years, and unfortunately his medicines, which were working very well for the Parkinson's initially, also started to create a lot of side effects which we call as dyskinesias. This was so severe for him that he was unable to perform even the most basic of his activities of daily life. He wasn't able to take care of himself. He needed support and help from others to do his normal activities like eating, bathing, clothing himself, etc. So in this very desperate situation, he had approached many hospitals, and finally, when he was worked up from our neurologist, Dr. Gurucharan, there emerged a ray of hope, because Dr. Guru decided that if he is suitable for an invasive procedure called Deep Brain Stimulation, this patient's dyskinesias, or those side effects of the medicine with which he is very dependent on, could be controlled effectively.
Hello everybody, I am Dr. Adoor Gurucharan, Senior Consultant Neurologist at Apollo Hospital, Banerghatta Road. Here to talk about a very interesting case of a patient, Mr. Sisti, who is about 37 years old, has been suffering with a very severe type of Parkinson's disease. We would have heard of Parkinson's, which is very common in the elderly, but he is one of those unfortunate persons who had Parkinson's at a very early age. He's been taking the medicines for the last 10 years, but for the last few years, he's not responding very well to the medications. If he takes the medicines, he develops shaking of the body. If he doesn't take the medicines, he's completely bedbound like a statue. So this was a challenging situation. So when he presented to us, the first thing that we had to make sure was that we are dealing with a classical type of Parkinson's. We ran a couple of very high-end sophisticated investigations which included functional neuroimaging and FDG PET and DAT scans as well. After all these scans, we were very sure that we are dealing with a young onset type of Parkinson's disease. We had a detailed conversation with the family and gave them a very new and a unique surgical intervention that could probably cure him from this Parkinson's disease. And this procedure is called Deep Brain Stimulation. Choosing the candidate for the Deep Brain Stimulation becomes extremely important because everybody who has been labeled as Parkinson's cannot actually undergo this procedure. After meticulous examination, we found him as a right candidate for DBS. And with the help of Dr. Satish Satyanarayana and his team of neurosurgeons, we were able to perform this deep brain stimulation, wherein we placed 2 electrodes at 2 different locations in both the hemispheres of the brain. And it's almost been 2 weeks since we did the procedure, and the patient is now completely independent. He's able to walk, and more importantly, the dose requirement of the medicine has come down to almost 50% as what he was taking before the procedure. Dear friends, we at Apollo Hospitals are very keen to establish and expand this functional neurosciences in our domain. Many such patients are candidates who are ideal candidates for deep brain stimulation can come to us, visit us, and we can do a meticulous evaluation. And if we find them to be the right candidates, we can give them this option of functional neurosurgeries. Thank you.
So after an extensive workup by Dr. Gurucharan, he was deemed to be suitable for this procedure. So this patient underwent this 4 or 5 hour long procedure wherein we implanted in his brain certain electrodes deep in his brain which would control those dyskinesias. The surgery was very successful, and immediately after the surgery we could stimulate within 2 weeks those regions of the brain which would control his symptoms. At the time of discharge, he was very functional, able to take care of himself with very minimal stimulation, and he was back on his drugs but without the side effects. So we had a very happy patient and a very good outcome from Tanzania. So we hope to see him in few months' time to see his progress.
We thank God that the government sponsored us here, and the treatment went well, and we come to be received by doctors here under Dr. Gurucharan and Satish. They were the one stand as experts to treat my son, to make a big surgery for the brain, and also they gave him a pacemaker battery which will be stimulating the system of the brain to make the dopamine hormone to alleviate the situation. We thank God my son is now walking, healthy, sound and happy. And myself, I'm happy. I thank God who can make people be kind this much and accept the commitments of the jobs they accepted. Thank you, Apollo. God bless Apollo. I will tell all the Tanzanian and all the people I meet around as I go from here to say that there is a life after having such diseases like Parkinson. Thank you, Dr. Gurucharan. Thank you, Dr. Satish. Thank you, Apollo Hospital. Thank you to all Apollo Hospital Bangalore staffs and all who has worked hard to make us happy here as we receive treatments.